Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free German ebook before it's gone.
Hi everyone, this is Henrik from GermanPod101.com. Do you know how to say I love you in German? In this lesson you'll learn 3 ways to say I love you, and on top of that, one special phrase for the upcoming Valentine's Day. Let's start with the most common phrase. Ich liebe dich. Ich liebe dich. I love you. This phrase is really direct, so you should only use it when you're really confessing your love. It's not really what you say so much to your mom or something like in English. It's really more romantic. If you want to be a little bit less direct, you can use this phrase. Du bedeutest mir sehr viel. Du bedeutest mir sehr viel. It means you mean so much to me. You guys really mean a lot to me also, because you're watching my videos. But that's rather a less romantic way, okay? If you want to be more romantic in expressing your love for someone, you can say this phrase. Worte können meine Liebe zu dir nicht beschreiben. Worte können meine Liebe zu dir nicht beschreiben. It means words can't describe my love for you. Cheesy, okay? Now you know 3 different ways to say I love you in German, and here's one more. If you want to spend Valentine's Day with someone really special, then you can use this phrase. Möchtest du mit mir am Valentinstag ausgehen? Do you want to go out with me on Valentine's Day? Möchtest du mit mir am Valentinstag ausgehen? To make sure you won't go home alone on Valentine's Day, let's wrap up this lesson by recapping what we've learned. Listen to the expressions and repeat after me. I love you. Ich liebe dich. Ich liebe dich. You mean so much to me. Du bedeutest mir sehr viel. Du bedeutest mir sehr viel. Words can't describe my love for you. Worte können meine Liebe zu dir nicht beschreiben. Worte können meine Liebe zu dir nicht beschreiben. Do you want to go out with me on Valentine's Day? Möchtest du mit mir am Valentinstag ausgehen? Möchtest du mit mir am Valentinstag ausgehen? Well done! Did you know that on Valentine's Day, the most prominent symbol is a rotes Herz, or red heart? It hangs in many shop windows in Germany. They also adorn greeting cards with inscriptions like For you, für dich, and I love you, or Ich liebe dich. You just learned how to say I love you in 3 different ways in German and a special phrase for Valentine's Day. And if you're interested in learning more, don't forget to download your free Romance and Love cheat sheet, which includes Romance words, compliments and pickup lines. Check out the description below and go to GermanPod101.com now. I'll see you next time. Bis zum nächsten Mal.
How are your German listening skills? First, you'll see an image and hear a question. Next comes a short dialogue. Listen carefully and see if you can answer correctly. We'll show you the answer at the end.
Ein Mann ruft beim Arzt an. Um wie viel Uhr sollte er in der Arztpraxis sein? Hallo, wie kann ich Ihnen helfen?
Um wie viel Uhr schließen Sie heute?
Wir schließen um 18 Uhr, aber bitte kommen Sie vor 17:30 Uhr vorbei.
Okay, danke schön.
Um wie viel Uhr sollte er in der Arztpraxis sein? Ein Mann ruft beim Arzt an. Um wie viel Uhr sollte er in der Arztpraxis sein? Hallo, wie kann ich Ihnen helfen?
Um wie viel Uhr schließen Sie heute?
Wir schließen um 18 Uhr, aber bitte kommen Sie vor 17:30 Uhr vorbei.
Okay, danke schön.
Did you get it right? I hope you learned something from this quiz. Let us know if you have any questions. See you next time.
Did you download your free PDF cheat sheets yet? These conversation cheat sheets are an easy way to speak more because you get cheat sheets for conversational topics like the weather, family, hobbies, and much more. And inside, you'll learn common questions and answers that you'd use in conversations, as well as tons of vocabulary. Don't miss out on this free gift. Click the link in the description to get access.
Hi, this is Elisa. Welcome to Top 25 German Verbs. Let's get started. Sein, be, means to be. A little complicated because ich bin, a version of sein, but because it's ich bin, it changes. So it's kind of like to be, but then in English it would be the same. I am Elisa. Ich bin Alisa. Ich bin ab morgen im Urlaub. I am gonna be on vacation tomorrow. Hawaii. I wish. Haben, have. Ich habe mir heute sehr viel vorgenommen. I have planned a lot for today. Tun, do. Tun means to do. Tun is used in a very casual way. Tust du mir den Gefallen und machst heute die Küche sauber? Can you do me the favor and clean the kitchen? Sagen, to say. Ich sage sehr oft okay. I say okay a lot. Meine Kollegen sagen, dass ich sehr gut arbeite. My colleagues say that I work very good. Bekommen, get. Ich habe heute mein Gehalt bekommen. I got my paycheck today. Machen, make. For example, meine Mutter macht heute einen Kuchen. My mother is making a cake. And if you've never tried German cake, it's really good. And then I'm going to put it in the oven. Ding! Now it's done. And then it's going to go whipped cream. Gehen, go. Gehen literally means to go or walk. And ich gehe gerne mit meinem Hund spazieren. I like to go on walks with my dog. Gehst du heute zum Volleyball? Are you going to volleyball today? Wissen, to know. Oh. Wer weiß was? The 3 W's. Who knows? Oh, okay, in English it's not the W, but in German, who knows what? B. Oh, and it's like W. For example, weißt du, wie viel Uhr es ist? Ja, ich weiß es. Do you know what time is it? Yes, I know. Nehmen, take. Ich nehme einen Regenschirm mit. I take the umbrella with me. Ich nehme an, du hast heute viel zu tun. In this case, ich nehme an means I assume you have a lot to do today. So it means something totally different because of the whole sentence, but that's really the magic. Sehen, to see. Literally, to see with your eyes. Ich sehe mir heute einen Film an. I am gonna see a movie today. So in this case, it means to see a movie. Ich sehe, dass es dir heute viel besser geht. I see that you're doing much better today. Kommen, come. Heute Abend kommt meine Freundin zu Besuch. Tonight, my friend is coming to visit. Ich komme gleich is actually a very casual thing to say. It means, oh, I'm gonna be there in a second, or I'm coming now, or you can write it as a message, or when you're on your way to somewhere. Denken, think. Ich denke, dass dieses Video sehr hilfreich ist. I think this video is very helpful. Gucken, look. Gucken means to look, and it's kind of used between friends and more young people, and it's not very formal, it's more casual. Ich gucke mir gerne den Himmel an. I like to look at the sky. Möchten, want. Ich möchte im Sommer an den Strand. I want to go to the beach in summer. Die Blumen möchten Wasser und brauchen Sonne. The flowers want water and need sunlight. Geben, give. Meine Freundin gibt mir heute ihre CDs. My friend is giving me CDs today. Ach, ich gebe jetzt auf. I'm gonna give up. Können, be able to, means be able to or can. Ich kann mehrere Sprachen sprechen. I am able to speak different languages. It really means that you're capable of or you can do something. Ich kann Kleidung designen. I am able to design clothes. Finden, find. Ich finde means when you're expressing your feelings or when you're expressing something you want to say to someone. Or finden means to really find something. So as you guys probably know, but Easter is really big in Germany, and die Kinder finden Ostereier im Garten. The kids find Easter eggs in the garden. Erzählen, tell. Immer wenn ich aus dem Urlaub zurückkomme, erzähle ich die aufregendsten Geschichten. When I come back from vacation, I always tell the most amazing stories. Als Kind hat meine Mutter mir Märchen erzählt. As a kid, my mom used to tell me fairy tales. The most famous fairy tales, Märchen, are from the Grimm brothers, and they're actually German. And I really used to love, Rotkäppchen, it's Red Riding Hood. Fragen, ask. When you're asking your teacher, for example, Hallo, Herr Müller, ich habe eine Frage. Hello, Mr. Müller, I have a question, or can I ask a question? Arbeiten, work. Gerade arbeite ich an einem Video für euch. Right now I am working on a video for you guys. Die Bauarbeiter arbeiten an der Straße. The construction workers are working on the street. Scheinen, seem. Scheinen has actually two different meanings. So one is seem, but one is actually to shine. You're in a good mood. Ja, wenn ich gut drauf bin, dann scheine ich von innen. When I'm in a good mood, I shine from the inside. Seem. Es scheint mir so, als wäre Katrin gut drauf. It seems like Katrin is in a good mood. Fühlen, feel. Ich fühle mich heute sehr gut. Today I feel really good. If you're buying a carpet and you say, ja, ich fühle den Teppich und er fühlt sich sehr weich an. I feel the carpet and it feels really soft. And also, ich fühle die Musik. I feel the music. Yeah, lately I actually have been listening to a lot of music, and so I've been in a good mood. I think music makes you feel really good. Versuchen. Try. This one is interesting because in versuchen, there's also the verb suchen, which means to search. Ich versuche jedes Jahr etwas Neues zu lernen. I try to learn something new every year, either if it's an instrument or reading something new and something that I've never read before. I think it's important to challenge yourself. Essen, eat. Ja. Gleich gehe ich zum Mittagessen. Soon I'm gonna go eat lunch. So eat is really eating. Glauben, believe. Ich glaube, Karl hat heute eine gute Arbeit geleistet. I believe that Carl did a good job today. Thank you for watching the top 25 German verbs. Don't forget to subscribe and I hope to see you soon. Bye. I love that. Wissen. I want to be a cute one. Yeah. Cut.
Hi everyone, I'm Gabriella. How are your German listening skills? In this video, you'll have a chance to test them out with a quiz. First, you'll see an image and hear a question. Next comes a short dialogue. Listen carefully and see if you can answer correctly. We'll show you the answer at the end. Are you ready?
Ein Mann sucht nach einem Geburtstagsgeschenk für seine Frau im Schmuckladen. Welche Kette wird er kaufen? Kann ich Ihnen helfen?
Ich suche nach einem Geburtstagsgeschenk für meine Frau. Haben Sie eine Empfehlung?
Nun ja, wie wäre es mit dieser Kette?
Sie sieht etwas lang aus.
Wie wäre es mit dieser da drüben? Wir haben eine mit einem Blumenanhänger und eine andere mit einem Herz.
Ich suche nach etwas, das ein bisschen mehr Klasse hat. Wie viel kostet diese Perlenkette da drüben?
Das macht 3.000 Euro.
Das ist zu teuer. Okay, ich nehme die erste.
Klar, bitteschön. Welche Kette wird er kaufen? Ein Mann sucht nach einem Geburtstagsgeschenk für seine Frau im Schmuckladen. Welche Kette wird er kaufen? Kann ich Ihnen helfen?
Ich suche nach einem Geburtstagsgeschenk für meine Frau. Haben Sie eine Empfehlung?
Nun ja, wie wäre es mit dieser Kette?
Sie sieht etwas lang aus.
Wie wäre es mit dieser da drüben? Wir haben eine mit einem Blumenanhänger und eine andere mit einem Herz.
Ich suche nach etwas, das ein bisschen mehr Klasse hat. Wie viel kostet diese Perlenkette da drüben?
Das macht 3.000 Euro.
Das ist zu teuer. Okay, ich nehme die erste.
Klar, bitteschön.
Did you get it right? I hope you learned something from this quiz. Let us know if you have any questions. See you next time.
Hi, welcome to Introduction to German. My name is Alicia, and I'm joined by...
Hi everyone, I'm Jenny. In this series, you learn everything you need to know to get started learning German.
That's right, and we're here to help guide you through your journey. In this lesson, you'll learn the reasons you should start learning a new language, why you should learn German in particular, and how to get started. There are countless reasons, but perhaps the biggest one of all is that it could actually change your life. Learning a new language unlocks new pathways that are off limits to you now. There are certain things that you simply cannot do without having the technical or cultural skills that come from learning a new language.
Like working or living in another country.
Knowing another language provides you with greater job opportunities. You have the freedom to move to another country halfway around the world and be able to earn a living, or even better yet, build a career from it, instead of just being stuck in one place. Language allows you to visit or live in places that you may never have even considered going, simply because that wasn't a possibility for you. Knowing another language simply gives you more options to choose from.
And learning a new language also helps you to be more open-minded and see the world from a new perspective.
Language and culture go hand in hand. The world is a big place, and by broadening your understanding of other cultures, it allows you to be more empathetic and understanding of the many different ways that people live their lives. With language, you're able to see and experience more, which helps you to grow as a person.
Learning a new language also improves your memory.
Several studies have consistently shown that those who study another language have improved memory as opposed to those who didn't learn another language. Learning another language also keeps your brain healthy by significantly delaying the onset of Alzheimer's and dementia. This difference can be as much as 4 to 5 more years of quality life.
And those are just some of the reasons you should learn another language. The list just goes on and on.
Now you know the benefits of studying another language, but why should you learn German in particular?
Have you heard of Adidas, BMW, or Audi? Well, they all come from Germany.
Knowing German opens many career opportunities. Germany leads scientific research in many fields. In fact, many scientific studies are originally published in German. Some of civilization's most significant inventions, like the bicycle or the printing press, were developed in Germany.
And what about the fact that Germany has the 4th largest economy in the world?
Germany has the largest economy in the European Union. Germany is renowned for its high-quality craftsmanship and engineering. German car makers take up a large percentage of the global automobile market. Volkswagen, Daimler, and BMW alone make up 1/5 of the entire automobile industry worldwide. Knowing the German language can open up business opportunities for you. Understanding their customs and work ethic can go a very long way in the world of business. Oftentimes, it could even make or break an important business deal. So knowing German will put you ahead of the pack.
Germany is also one of the top-ranked tourism destinations in the world. Germany is known for its festive culture, most notably for hosting Oktoberfest, which is a yearly beer festival of epic proportions. It hosts roughly 6 million visitors every year.
Oktoberfest takes place in Bavaria in southern Germany, where many of Germany's pristine castles are located.
In fact, castles like Schloss Neuschwanstein was actually the original model for the iconic Disney castle today. Another spot I really like is the Zugspitze, Germany's highest mountain. Being at the top gives you a great view of the Alps and the German countryside.
In northern Germany, Berlin is of particular interest as this city has a mixture of cultures and ethnic groups as well as historical sites, museums, and street art.
If you love traveling and exploring, learning German is a must because it allows you to discover much more of Germany than just common tourist spots.
Okay then, we've talked about why you should start learning a new language and why you should start learning German, but how can you get started, Jenny? The good news is that you already know some German.
Kindergarten, Dachshund, Gesundheit.
Not only does German use the same Roman script as English, but there are many loanwords that have made their way into English. According to researchers, roughly 26% of modern English is derived from Germanic roots.
The reverse is also true. Many English words are now used in German too. In fact, 10% of all the words in German are borrowed from English. Outlet, Club, Computer.
This means that you already know about 10% of German vocabulary.
Let's teach you something that you might not know but is very useful. Dankeschön. It means thank you very much in German.
That's a useful phrase, but can you please explain a little more about it?
Sure, the first part, danke, can stand alone. It means thanks. The second part, schön, means pretty. It makes danke more polite. So the phrase Dankeschön essentially means thank you very much.
These 2 dots here will be unfamiliar to English speakers, but don't worry. We'll talk a little bit about them in the next lesson. For now, just listen and repeat after Jenny.
Dankeschön.
Now you try.
Dankeschön.
Your turn again.
Dankeschön.
One last time.
Dankeschön.
Well done! Now you know how to say thank you very much in German. We've covered a lot of things already, so why don't we wrap up the first lesson and recap on what we've learned. In this lesson, you learned that studying another language has many benefits, such as opening up career and business opportunities. Germany has a rich culture with many things to see and learn, and to say thank you very much in German, it's
Dankeschön.
In the next lesson, we're going to take a closer look at German pronunciation by examining the sounds of German, so be sure to watch the next video. See you in the next lesson. Bye!
Bye.
Now that you're finished with this lesson, don't forget, as a free bonus, you get over 30 conversation cheat sheets, but only if you sign up via the link in the description. You'll learn how to have flowing conversations and how to answer the most common questions. You can also print out these colorful cheat sheets to keep as physical study material. So don't miss out on this free gift. Click the link in the description and sign up for a free lifetime account to get your PDF cheat sheets. Hi, welcome to Introduction to German. My name is Alicia, and I'm joined by...
Hi everyone, I'm Jenny.
In this lesson, you'll learn the basics of German pronunciation. German uses the exact same letters as English. It also uses one extra character and has unique markers which look like two dots appearing over some vowels.
But let's try not to focus and rely on the German letters too much. Let's focus on the sounds. There are a total of 28 consonant sounds and 17 vowel sounds in German. The good news is that most of these sounds are identical to English. A, E, I, O, U.
As you heard, these vowels don't sound that different from English.
One thing to note though is that German vowels are pronounced much more clearly than English. We also have more vowel sounds than English. So that's why it's very important that we pronounce them clearly. Unlike English, we try to maintain a constant pitch from start to finish without tapering off. A, E, I, O, U.
Some vowel sounds will be unfamiliar to you.
Some vowels such as A, O, and U can have two dots over them. We call these dots Umlaute. They indicate a change in the original pronunciation of the vowel. Compare the following pairs of vowels. A, Ä, O, Ö, U, Ü. The vowels with the two dots over them are essentially a combination between the vowel and the E sound. Sometimes they're represented as AE, OE, or UE.
Now let's take a look at German consonants. Like vowels, German consonants are predominantly similar to English.
B, D,
Other consonant sounds, however, may be a little more challenging.
Rost, Rübe, Schmarrn. These are the sounds that you need to focus on perfecting.
Okay, let's move on. Some consonants in German aren't actually pronounced as they look to an English speaker. Let's take a look at some of these letters.
The German V isn't pronounced like an English V, but as an F sound. So both V and F in German are pronounced as an F sound. Vogel, Fett.
The German W, on the other hand, is pronounced like a V sound.
Wasser, Wagen. German is also notorious for its Ich and Ach sounds.
The German CH isn't pronounced like the CH in church.
Ich, Licht, Recht.
It could also be pronounced another way.
Wach, Dach, noch.
The former is pronounced closer to the front of the mouth, while the latter is pronounced at the back of the mouth. Next is the SCH. This one is actually pronounced like the sh in sheet.
Schmal, schnell, Schlaf.
Now that you have gained a better understanding of German sounds, let's take a closer look at some common mistakes and how to fix them. We mentioned before that English speakers do not maintain the pitch of the vowel throughout. This often occurs because English speakers tend to glide on the vowel, needlessly adding a Y sound as they prolong the vowel.
When pronouncing German vowels, try to maintain the same pitch throughout the vowel. Bad, Nebel, Igel, Ohr, U-Boot. Bär, blöd, über.
Another challenging sound is the German guttural R sound.
Rund, Rast.
You want to produce the sound at the back of your throat, as if you're gargling water. Try it.
R,
R.
Well done! In this lesson, you were introduced to German pronunciation. You learned that English and German share a lot of similar consonant and vowel sounds. You also learned that German vowels are pronounced evenly throughout. And in this lesson, you were introduced to some unfamiliar German sounds and the common mistakes that learners make. We've covered only the basics of German pronunciation. If you're interested in learning more, check out our entire course titled The Ultimate Guide to German Pronunciation. In that course, we cover and break down every single sound in the German language, showing you mouth and tongue positioning and giving you tips to help you perfect your German pronunciation. In the next lesson, we'll introduce you to the basics of German grammar, where you'll learn about German word order and how to build basic sentences in German. See you in the next lesson. Bye!
Bye.
How are your German listening skills? First, you'll see an image and hear a question. Next comes a short dialogue. Listen carefully and see if you can answer correctly. We'll show you the answer at the end.
Ein Mann und eine Frau schauen sich das Menü in einem Restaurant an. Was wird der Mann bestellen?
Was wirst du bestellen?
Die Pizza sieht lecker aus. Ich denke, die nehme ich.
Ich hatte gestern schon Pizza, also
Okay, dann, wie wäre es mit Hamburger?
hört sich toll an. Das nehme ich.
Was wird der Mann bestellen? Ein Mann und eine Frau schauen sich das Menü in einem Restaurant an. Was wird der Mann bestellen?
Was wirst du bestellen?
Die Pizza sieht lecker aus. Ich denke, die nehme ich.
Ich hatte gestern schon Pizza, also
Okay, dann, wie wäre es mit Hamburger?
hört sich toll an. Das nehme ich.
Did you get it right? I hope you learned something from this quiz. Let us know if you have any questions. See you next time. Hi everyone! Welcome to the Ultimate German Pronunciation Guide. In this lesson, you'll learn the top 5 German pronunciation mistakes to avoid. These are common mistakes that students of German tend to make, so pay close attention and make sure that you don't make these same mistakes too. Are you ready? Then let's get started. Number 1. Pronouncing German words with an English accent. English and German have many words in common, so the tendency is to pronounce them as you would pronounce them in English. Compare a few English words with their German derivatives. Pretzel,
Brezel,
bagel,
Bagel,
cobalt,
Kobalt,
Autobahn.
Autobahn.
The difference is quite obvious. Be sure to always pronounce words using German consonant and vowel sounds when speaking German. Get out of the habit of pronouncing these words as you would in English. While it may feel unnatural to say these words in a different manner than what you're used to, realize that it actually sounds more natural to native German listeners. Number 2. Under-enunciating vowels and final syllables. While both English and German have vowel reductions of some sort, English is much more lax than German. This means that many English speakers tend to under-enunciate vowels. The same applies to final syllables as well. Take, for example,
Ich habe mir heute ein Stück Kuchen gegönnt.
learners of German would often be unclear in these problem areas. The problem gets worse when an indirect or direct object is involved, as this makes it even more difficult for a listener to understand what it is exactly you're trying to say.
In meinem Auto habe ich eine Spinne entdeckt. Ich habe mir einen Koffer gekauft.
As you can see, both markers for the indirect and the direct object are quite similar. If you do not enunciate the endings clearly, you'll be difficult to understand. Number 3. Using the wrong intonation. Students of German often use the incorrect pitch when saying a complete sentence or question. When you connect phrases leading up to a complete sentence, the endings of each phrase should rise in pitch. It's only at the final phrase of the sentence that the pitch falls if it's a statement. Take a look at this example.
Marie macht das Fenster zu, denn ihr ist kalt.
Notice how the pitch rises at the end of the first clause and falls at the end of the sentence?
Würden Sie mir verraten, wie ich zum Bahnhof komme?
Once again, the pitch rises at the end of the first clause, but this time the pitch also rises at the end since it's a question. Number 4, mispronouncing the German R.
R.
English speakers typically associate all R-like sounds with some manner of articulation using the tip of the tongue and somewhere in the front part of the mouth. The German R, however, actually comes from the throat using the back of the mouth. Listen to a few examples which use this letter.
Rost, Rast, Rutsch.
We'll take an in-depth look at pronouncing German R sounds in Lesson 6. Number 5, mispronouncing consonant combinations with the letter S. When combined with other consonants in German, the letter S typically changes to a sh sound. When S is paired with an H,
Show, Schare, Ware.
when S is paired with CH,
Scheck, komisch, Fisch.
when S is paired before a P at the beginning of a word or the first syllable,
Spiel, sprechen.
when S is paired before a T at the beginning of a word or the first syllable.
Stadt, studieren.
As you can see, there are many instances in which the letter S changes to a sh sound. We'll cover more of this in Lesson 8. Now you know the top 5 German pronunciation mistakes to avoid. Try to be careful so that you don't make these same mistakes. Still feel a bit worried? Over the rest of this series, we'll cover all of these topics in depth. In the next lesson, we'll start learning vowel sounds in German. Have you been guilty of any of these 5 mistakes? Have you learned any tricks to deal with them? Let us know in the comments and share them with other students like you. See you in the next Ultimate German Pronunciation Guide lesson. Hi everyone, welcome to the Ultimate German Pronunciation Guide. In this lesson, you'll learn all 17 German vowel sounds.
A, 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 Ö, E, Ö, Ä, Ä, E, I, Ü, I, Ü, O, O, U, U.
With these sounds, you can pronounce any vowel that could possibly appear in German. Some vowels may be hard for you to distinguish, especially for English speakers, so make sure you listen carefully. Are you ready? Then let's get started. The first vowel is
A, maximal, Wasser, Dach.
It's very similar to the A sound in the word pat, though not as whiny. Try moving your tongue further back into the mouth so that it assumes a more centralized position. It should sound a little deeper as a result, and instead of a whiny sound, it now has a darker quality to it. The resulting vowel should sound somewhere in between the A sounds of the words pat and bra. Listen to Elisa.
A, 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 A,
The next vowel is
A, Bahn, Saal, Vater.
This is identical to the previous sound, except it's held for twice as long.
A, 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 A,
The next vowel is
A, oder, aber, Ober.
This is identical to the previous sound, except that the tongue is raised a tiny bit higher. This sound typically occurs at the end of a word and is pronounced softly.
A, 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 A.
The next vowel is
Ö, Hölle, göttlich, erörtern.
This sounds roughly like the U in the word hurt. To pronounce this sound, however, try saying the E sound in the word red while rounding your lips.
Ö, 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 Ö.
The next vowel is
E, Seele, Meer, Bet.
This sounds a little bit like the double E in the word feet, except your tongue is not as high. Try to relax your jaw and say it as if to allow the vowel to spill out. Listen to Elisa.
E, 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 E.
The next vowel is
Ö, öde, hören, schön.
This is identical to the previous sound, except that the lips are rounded. Try to say the word play while rounding your lips.
Ö, Ö. Ö, Ö.
The next vowel is
Hätte, Männer, Bett.
It's identical to the E sound in the word red.
Ä, Ä. Ä, Ä.
The next vowel is
Ä, Wähle, spät, Länge.
This is identical to the previous sound, except that it's pronounced twice as long.
Ä, Ä. Ä, Ä.
The next vowel is
E, halte, behalten, gesund.
It's identical to the E sound at the end of the word problem.
E, E. E, E.
The next vowel is
I, viel, Bibel, Ziel.
It's identical to the double E sound in the word see.
I, I. I, I.
The next vowel is
Ü, über, Mykene, Rübe.
It's identical to the previous sound, except that the lips are rounded. Try saying the word see while rounding your lips.
Ü, Ü. Ü, Ü.
The next vowel is
I, bitte, willig, bist.
It's identical to the I sound in the word it.
I, 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 I.
The next vowel is
Ü. Füllt, Rhythmus, schützen.
It's identical to the previous sound, except that the lips are rounded. Try saying the word it while rounding your lips.
Ü, Ü. Ü, Ü.
The next vowel is
O, voll, kommen, Ort.
It's identical to the OU sound in the word ought.
O, O. O, O.
The next vowel is
O, oder, Boot, Moos.
This is very similar to the previous sound, except your tongue is positioned a little bit higher. It's quite similar to the O sound in the word O, though be careful not to carry over the W sound too much. Listen to Elisa.
O, O. O, O.
The next vowel is
U, Fuß, Blume, Hut.
It's identical to the double O sound in the word boot.
U, U. U, U.
And the last vowel is
U. Schutz, kurz, Putz.
It's identical to the double O sound in the word took.
U, U. U, U.
Well done! You've just learned all 17 vowels in German.
A, 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 Ö, E, Ö, Ä, Ä, E, I, Ü, I, Ü, O, O, U, U.
In the next lesson, you'll start learning consonant sounds. There were a lot of vowel sounds in this lesson, but which vowel sound was the most difficult for you to learn? Please comment and share your thoughts. See you in the next Ultimate German Pronunciation Guide lesson. Hi, welcome to Introduction to German. My name is Alicia, and I'm joined by...
Hi everyone, I'm Jenny.
In this lesson, you'll learn the basics of German grammar. Word order refers to the order in which words are structured to form a sentence in a given language. Consider the English sentence, I ate an apple. But first, let's remove the article an here for simplicity, so we're just left with I ate apple. The basic word order for English is subject, verb, object, or SVO for short. If we break down the English sentence, I ate apple, we can see that the subject I is presented first, followed by the verb ate, and then finally the object apple is positioned last. This is the basic word order for sentences in English.
Now let's compare that same sentence, I ate an apple, in German. Ich esse einen Apfel. Like before, let's remove the article to keep it simple. so we're just left with the words. If we break down the German sentence, we get the subject ich, meaning I. Then comes the verb esse, meaning eat. And finally, we have the object Apfel, meaning apple. Ich esse Apfel. The basic word order for German then is subject, verb, object, or SVO for short.
As you can see, English and German both have the same word order. This essentially means that you can create basic German sentences by exchanging English words for German words.
This isn't perfect, but it's a good place to get you started. Understanding basic word order will allow you to string together the few German words you've learned to create basic sentences and to start communicating in German.
In the previous section, you learned that English and German both use the same SVO word order. Let's study this aspect in a little more detail. First, let's take a look at an example in English. She sees the boy every day. We can clearly see the SVO word structure used in English, even with the adverb attached at the very end there. But what if we were to try and change the word order of this sentence? Let's swap the object and the subject around. Now we get, the boy sees she every day. As you can see, rearranging the word order of an English sentence actually changes the meaning of the sentence itself.
The word order of German, on the other hand, is much more flexible than English. While German does follow an SVO word order like English, it's much less rigid, allowing us to move elements of the sentence around. Sie sieht den Jungen jeden Tag. Den Jungen sieht sie jeden Tag.
As you can see, swapping the object and the subject around in German doesn't change the core meaning of the sentence itself.
Jeden Tag sieht sie den Jungen. In fact, all parts of the sentence can be rearranged, except the verb. As long as the verb is the second element in the sentence, you can generally rearrange the sentence however you wish.
We've talked about basic sentences in English and German, but what if you wanted to give more detail to a sentence? Consider the following English sentence. I like apples because they taste good. Notice how there are two parts to this sentence. I like apples and because they taste good. We call the first part of this sentence the main clause and the second part of this sentence the dependent clause because it depends on the first part to make sense. If we break down the two parts, we can see that English sticks to the SVO word order once again.
Now, let's compare the same sentence in German. Ich mag Äpfel, weil sie gut schmecken. The main clause has the verb as the second element, so this is fine. The dependent clause, however, has the verb as the final element in the sentence, not as the second element.
So in fact, German sentences will always have the verb as the second element, but if there's a dependent clause, the verb in that clause will always be moved to the final position.
Ich mag Äpfel, weil sie gut schmecken. Negating basic sentences in German is easy compared to English. Simply add nicht, which means not, at the end of a German sentence. Ich schlafe. Ich schlafe nicht.
If you want to show that you have zero sum of something,
you would add kein, which can be translated to no, depending on the sentence. Ich habe kein Geld. Ich habe keine Energie.
This is a simplified way to negate basic sentences in German.
Formulating questions in German is also easy. Simply swap the verb and the subject to make a sentence into a question. Sie ist hier. Ist sie hier? Sie ist Äpfel. Ist sie Äpfel?
Just a quick swap makes this a question. Well done! We've covered a lot of things in this lesson, so let's recap on what we've learned. In this lesson, you learned that the same word order as English can be used in German. German word order can be rearranged any which way, so long as the verb is the second element in the sentence. If there are dependent clauses, then the verb in that clause will appear at the end of the sentence. Simply add the word for not at the end of a sentence to make it negative. And to formulate a question, simply swap the subject and verb around. We've covered only the very basics of German grammar. If you're interested in learning more, check out our German in 3 Minutes video series. In that course, we teach you useful phrases while covering the fundamentals of German grammar, and each lesson is only 3 minutes long. In the next lesson, we will introduce you to basics of German writing. See you in the next lesson. Bye!
Bye!
Hallo, ich bin Laura. Hi everybody, I'm Laura. Welcome to GermanPod101.com's Deutsch in 3 Minuten, the fastest, easiest and most fun way to learn German. In the last lesson, we learned the numbers from 1 to 10. Have you forgotten? Here I tell you again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now let's continue from 11. 11, 11, 12, 12, 13, 13, 14, 14, 15, 15, 16, 16, 17, 17, 18, 18, 19, 19. And finally we have 20, 20. Okay, now repeat after me. I'll say the numbers and give you time to repeat each one. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. These numbers may seem hard to remember, but you really just have to memorize 11, 12, 16, 17 and 20. For 13, 14, 15, 18 and 19, you just have to add 10 or 10. Let's not stop at 20. Counting from 10 to 100 is super easy. Now I'll give you the tens. 30, 30, 40, 40, 50, 50, 60, 60, 70, 70, 80, 80, 90, 90, 100, 100. While you have to memorize a few of these numbers, there are a couple of tricks that will make memorizing them incredibly easy. In order to build 40, 40, you just add 10, sich to 4, 4, and you get 40. The same goes for 50, 80, and 90. Let's have a look at the pronunciation. If G comes last in the word, it makes a h sound. So you would say 40 instead of 40. 40. You probably recognize the dots on A, O, and U. Ä, Ö, Ü. For example, 5, 5. These are called Umlaute. Ä is being pronounced like the I in elder. Ö comes close to the O in worry. And Ü could be imagined as something between U and I. Ä, Ö, Ü. The last thing to learn today is how to form compound numbers above 20. This is also super easy. Take the tens and simply add the numbers you learned in the previous lesson. Let's try it out. How would you say 56 in German? Let's take it step by step. 50 is 50. 6 is 6. The smaller number comes first and then add and in German. 56. 56. 56. It's done. Isn't that easy? Let's make another number. For instance, 98. Take 8, 8, add and then 90. 90. 98. 98. Now it's time for Laura's insights. If you're talking about decades in German, like the 80s or the 20s, You just have to add er after the actual number. So you would say 80er or 20er. Here you pronounce G as a G and not as a H, since it doesn't come at the end of the word. Now you can talk about the exciting 80s or golden 20s with your friends. After only 2 lessons, you're now able to count to 100 in German. In the next lesson, we are going to put your number knowledge to use. Do you have all the skills you need to go shopping in Germany? If not, I'll be waiting for you in our next Deutsch in 3 Minuten lesson. Bis bald!
Hi, my name is Elisa. Welcome to Top 25 German Phrases. Let's get started. Hallo, hello. Hallo, hello. It's usually used between friends, and usually you add Hallo, wie geht's? It's hello, how are you? Guten Morgen, good morning. Guten Morgen, good morning. And obviously it's used in the very casual would be just morning, morgen. Guten Tag, good afternoon. Guten Tag means good afternoon or good day. You don't usually say it to friends. Guten Tag. Na klar, of course. Na klar means of course. I actually use it a lot. It's very casual. Kannst du mein Auto heute waschen? Na klar. That would be really good. But it means, can you wash my car today? Of course. Who wouldn't want that, right? Wie heißen Sie? What's your name? Wie heißen Sie means what's your name? Wie heißen Sie is a very formal way to say it. Between friends, it would be more wie heißt du? Wie heißen Sie? Ich heiße Alisa. What's your name? My name is Alisa. Ich bin, I am. Ich bin heute gut drauf. I am in a really good mood today. Ich bin im Urlaub. I am on vacation. Wie geht es Ihnen? How are you? Wie geht es Ihnen? And then, mir geht es gut. How are you? I am good. Es freut mich, Sie kennenzulernen. Nice to meet you. Hallo, wie geht's? Es freut mich, Sie kennenzulernen. Hello, how are you? Nice to meet you is a very common sentence. Mir geht es gut, danke. Und Ihnen? I'm fine, thanks. And you? Mir geht es gut, danke. Und Ihnen? I'm fine, thanks. And you? It's the answer to if you get asked, wie geht es Ihnen? When you're talking to friends, you can actually say, mir geht es gut, danke. Und dir? Bitte, please. Bitte also means you're welcome. Danke, dass du heute einkaufen warst. Ach, bitte. Thank you for going grocery shopping today. You're welcome. Bis später. See you later. Bis später. See you later. Bis gleich means when you're actually meeting in maybe 5 to 10 minutes. And bis später is used mostly, for example, in the morning, and you're going to meet during the evening. Hallo, sollen wir heute essen gehen? Ja, gerne. Ja, dann bis später. Hello, should we go have something to eat today? Yes, sure. See you later. Ich glaube schon. I think so. Ich glaube schon. I think so. Meinst du, wir können heute was trinken gehen? Ich glaube schon. Yeah, do you think we can go have drinks tonight? I think so. Ich glaube schon is kind of like an uncertain thing to say. Danke. Thank you. Danke. Thank you. Danke is very casual between friends and family. Wie geht es dir heute? Danke, sehr gut. How are you today? Thank you, I am fine. Gern geschehen. You're welcome. Ja, danke, dass du mir beim Umzug geholfen hast. Gern geschehen. Thank you for helping me move. You're welcome. Ja, yes. Ja means yes. And of course, it's a very, very common word in German. You use it all the time when you're listening to someone. Ja, kannst du heute bitte mit dem Hund spazieren gehen? Ja. Can you take the dog for a walk today? Yes. Nein, no. Nein, no. Hast du am Samstag Zeit? Nein, leider nicht. Are you free on Saturday? No, sorry, I'm not. Just saying nein is a little bit rude, so people just add, no, I'm not free. Okay, okay. It's more used with friends and family and not at workplace. When I was a child, I wasn't allowed to say okay, for example. I have to say yes or no. Ja, nein. And of course, okay is also used, for example, wie geht es dir? Or mir geht's okay. And how are you? I'm okay. Kannst du mir vielleicht deine Kamera heute ausleihen? Okay. Could you lend me your camera today? Okay. Entschuldigung. Excuse me. Entschuldigung. Excuse me. Entschuldigung, Sie haben gerade Ihre Schlüssel verloren. Excuse me, you just dropped your keys. So yeah, excuse me and I'm sorry means both. Entschuldigung. It's a very formal way to ask somebody for a favor. Kein Problem. No problem. Kein Problem. No problem. It's a very common sentence. I use it all the time. Kein Problem. Kein Problem. Kein Problem. If somebody's gonna be late or, ich komme erst in 10 Minuten. KP means no problem. Wie viel Uhr ist es? What time is it? Yes, obviously, when you want to know the time, you ask this, and it's used at work. It's neither formal or casual. You can use it with friends. You're in the city and you forgot your watch. Entschuldigen Sie, wie viel Uhr ist es? Excuse me, what time is it? It's a very common phrase and used everywhere. Einen Moment bitte. One moment, please. You bought something and you want to return it. Entschuldigen Sie, ich würde gerne etwas zurückschicken. Einen Moment bitte. Excuse me, I would like to return something. One moment, please. Ich hätte gerne. I would like. Ich hätte gerne einen Salat mit Pommes. I would like a salad with fries. Wait. I would like a water. Wie viel macht das? How much is it? Ich hätte gerne ein Kleid für eine Hochzeit. Wie viel macht das? I would like a dress for a wedding. How much is it? Zahlen bitte. The check, please. Zahlen bitte. The check, please. When you're ordering something and you're finished and you want to pay, you usually say to the waiter or waitress, zahlen bitte. Hilfe, help. Hilfe! Help! Hilfe, like help, is when you're in need of something or you can't do it by yourself. You scream or you say, Hilfe! Ja, ich bräuchte Hilfe heute Abend. I need help tonight. Thank you for watching. Today we did the top 25 German phrases. Don't forget to subscribe. See you soon. Bye. We're done? Cut.
Hallo, ich heiße Laura. Hi everybody, I'm Laura. Welcome to GermanPod101.com's Deutsch in 3 Minuten. The fastest, easiest and most fun way to learn German. In the last lesson we learned the phrase Entschuldigen Sie, sprechen Sie Englisch? Excuse me, do you speak English? We mentioned the word Entschuldigen Sie, which means excuse me in formal German. In this lesson, we're going to learn how to use Entschuldigen Sie and other words when apologizing in German. We should use Entschuldigen Sie in formal situations, such as when we are ordering something in bars or restaurants. For example, Entschuldigen Sie, einen Kaffee bitte. Excuse me, a coffee please. We can also use it when asking a question. Entschuldigen Sie, wo ist der Ausgang? Excuse me, where's the exit please? Sometimes we also hear people say bitte, which means the same thing when you want to draw somebody's attention. We use this phrase if we want to be polite. Bitte. The informal way to say excuse me is entschuldige. Entschuldige. Just like entschuldigen Sie, we can use entschuldige when asking a question or when apologizing. We can also use the word Entschuldigung if you are not sure whether to use the formal or informal way. All of these phrases can be used for either excuse me or I'm sorry. But if you really want to apologize for something, it might be better to use a different phrase. That phrase is Es tut mir leid. It means I'm sorry and can be used in both formal and informal situations. Es tut mir leid. First, we have es or it. Next, we have the German word for to do, conjugated for the pronoun es, tut. The word mir is German for me. Finally, we have leid, literally meaning sorrow. Es tut mir leid. Now it's time for Laura's insights. Please remember that in Germany, if you accidentally bump into someone, we don't say I'm sorry, es tut mir leid. Instead, we say Entschuldigen Sie, Entschuldige or Entschuldigung. Are you able to count in German? In the next lesson, we will learn the numbers in German from 1 to 10. I'll be waiting for you in our next Deutsch in 3 Minuten lesson. Bis bald zur nächsten Lektion.
Hi everyone, I'm Gabriella. How are your German listening skills? In this video, you'll have a chance to test them out with a quiz. First, you'll see an image and hear a question. Next comes a short dialogue. Listen carefully and see if you can answer correctly. We'll show you the answer at the end. Are you ready?
Eine Frau fragt einen Verkäufer nach etwas in einem Buchladen. Welches Buch möchte die Frau sehen? Entschuldigen Sie, ich würde gerne einen Blick auf ein Buch in diesem Regal werfen.
Welches Buch möchten Sie?
Jenes über Autos.
Einen Moment bitte. Dieses?
Ja, das ist es.
Hier, bitteschön.
Welches Buch möchte die Frau sehen? Eine Frau fragt einen Verkäufer nach etwas in einem Buchladen. Welches Buch möchte die Frau sehen? Entschuldigen Sie, ich würde gerne einen Blick auf ein Buch in diesem Regal werfen.
Welches Buch möchten Sie?
Jenes über Autos.
Einen Moment bitte. Dieses?
Ja, das ist es.
Hier, bitteschön.
Did you get it right? I hope you learned something from this quiz. Let us know if you have any questions. See you next time.
Hallo, ich heiße Laura. Hi everybody, I'm Laura. Welcome to GermanPod101.com's Deutsch in 3 Minuten. The fastest, easiest and most fun way to learn German. In the last lesson we learned how to count in German. I hope you spend some time practicing the numbers, because they will come in handy today. We're going to learn how to go shopping in Germany. Before we go, you need to know how to say how much is it? Wie viel kostet das? Wie viel kostet das? Are you ready to go shopping in Germany? Let's go! You see something you like and want to ask the shop clerk how much it costs. The first thing to say to the shop clerk is Entschuldigung. Do you remember what that means? Excuse me. Entschuldigung. Wie viel kostet das? Entschuldigung. Wie viel kostet das? If we want to be more specific when asking how much is this and refer to a certain type of object, we first need to drop the word das. Next, we need to know if the object is a masculine, feminine, or neuter object. If it's masculine, add diese when referring to it, or diese for a feminine object, and dieses for a neuter one. And then say the noun. For example, hat is a masculine noun. Der Hut. Entschuldigung, wie viel kostet dieser Hut? Excuse me, how much is this hat? Entschuldigung, wie viel kostet dieser Hut? And pants is a feminine noun. Die Hose. Entschuldigung, wie viel kostet diese Hose? Excuse me, how much is this pair of pants? Entschuldigung, wie viel kostet diese Hose? Finally, book is a neuter noun. Das Buch. So you would say, Entschuldigung, wie viel kostet dieses Buch? Excuse me, how much is this book? Entschuldigung, wie viel kostet dieses Buch? At this point, the shop clerk can answer by saying, das kostet, das macht, or das sind. And then the number followed by euro. For example, das kostet 39 Euro. Das macht 39 Euro. Or, das sind 39 Euro. What number is 39? I'm not telling you. Okay, it's 39. It costs 39 euros. Now it's time for Laura's insights. A quicker way to ask how much is wie viel. Wie viel, which literally means how much. When you ask for a beer at the counter of a bar, you can ask the cashier, ein Bier ist wie viel bitte? How much is one beer, please? At this point, can you count euros in German? We're going to learn how to do this and much more in the next lesson. I'll be waiting for you in our next Deutsch in 3 Minuten lesson. Bis bald! Welcome to GermanPod101.com's Deutsch in 3 Minuten. The fastest, easiest and most fun way to learn German. Hallo, ich heiße Laura, sehr erfreut. Hi, I'm Laura, nice to meet you. In this series, we're going to learn basic German expressions. It's super easy and it only takes 3 minutes. In this lesson, we are going to learn how to introduce ourselves in German. We'll start speaking right away, but first, it's important to clarify that in German there is a difference between the formal and the informal language. Let's first see how German people introduce themselves in an informal situation. Hallo, ich heiße Laura. Schön, dich kennenzulernen. Hi, I'm Laura. Nice to meet you. Hallo, ich heiße Laura. Schön, dich kennenzulernen. Start by saying, Hallo, ich heiße, then say your name. Hallo, ich heiße Laura. Finally say, schön, dich kennenzulernen. Hallo, ich heiße Laura. Schön, dich kennenzulernen. And now, let's see the same sentence in formal speech. Guten Tag, ich heiße Laura Meyer. Schön, Sie kennenzulernen. Good day, I'm Laura Meyer. Nice to meet you. Guten Tag, ich heiße Laura Meyer. Schön, Sie kennenzulernen. So, what has changed from the previous introduction? Let's take a close look at these expressions together. Hallo has been substituted with the formal greeting Guten Tag, German for good day. Ich heiße Laura has not been changed. Ich heiße simply means I am. However, during a formal self-introduction, we also say our last name. So I said Laura Meyer. Here, you would say your full name. Finally, pay attention to the ending. We went from dich kennenzulernen to Sie kennenzulernen. What is changing is the German word for you. In a formal sentence, we use the more polite word Sie. One more time. The informal way to introduce yourself in German is Hallo, ich heiße Laura. Schön, dich kennenzulernen. The formal way to introduce yourself is Guten Tag, ich heiße Laura Meyer. Schön, Sie kennenzulernen. Now it's time for Laura's insights. When you introduce yourself, it's a good habit to shake hands. If you're not sure whether to use schön dich kennenzulernen or schön Sie kennenzulernen, just say simply sehr erfreut, as I said at the beginning of this lesson. If you use the correct sentence with German people, they're definitely going to be impressed. That's it for this lesson. Do you know how we say thank you in German? We learn how to say this and many other words in the next lesson. Bis bald zur nächsten Lektion. See you then. Hallo, ich heiße Laura. Hi everybody, I'm Laura. Welcome to GermanPod101.com's Deutsch in 3 Minuten, the fastest, easiest and most fun way to learn German. In the last lesson, we learned the most common forms of greetings in German. Do you remember them? In this lesson, we are going to learn a very useful phrase. Do you speak English? If you find yourself in a situation where you need assistance in English, this phrase can be a lifesaver. And because you're asking it in German, you can be sure that everyone will understand what you're saying, even if their answer is no. Here's the informal way to say it. Sprichst du Englisch? Sprichst du Englisch? In German, verbs change depending on the pronoun that is used. Please notice the word du in the middle of the sentence. Remember that this is the informal way to say you. The first word is sprichst, which means to speak. Because it is referring to du, it is conjugated to du sprichst. If you ask a question in German, you change the du sprichst to the interrogative form sprichst du, and you probably recognize English to be English. Sprichst du Englisch? To learn how to properly conjugate verbs like sprechen, please look at our Absolute Beginner series on GermanPod101.com. You can find very detailed grammar lessons and resources there. We are now going to make the sentence formal. First, we need to use the formal version of you, which is Sie. If we change the word for you, we will conjugate the verb differently. It becomes sprechen instead of sprichst, like in the informal version. Everything else stays the same. Sprechen Sie Englisch? Sprechen Sie Englisch? Adding entschuldigen Sie, excuse me, the sentence becomes even more polite. Entschuldigen Sie, sprechen Sie Englisch? Entschuldigen Sie, sprechen Sie Englisch? The responses you will receive could be one of these 3. Ja, yes. Ja. Ein bisschen. A little. Ein bisschen. Nein, ich spreche nicht Englisch. No, I don't speak English. Nein, ich spreche nicht Englisch. Since this last one is a negative statement, we need to say nicht after the verb sprechen. Notice also that the verb spreche is slightly different than sprechen. Remember, the verb changes depending on the pronoun used. We are now talking about ich, German for I. Thus, I do not speak is ich spreche nicht. Now it's time for Laura's Insights. For those of you who are not only English speakers, you can obviously use this question with any language you need. German people study other European languages at school, so maybe you will get lucky. Just substitute English with Italienisch for Italian, Russisch for Russian, Spanish for Spanish, Französisch for French. In this lesson, we mentioned the expression entschuldigen Sie. But did you know that this could also be used as an apology? In the next lesson, we will learn this and other ways to apologize in German. It's never too late to show your good manners with German people. I'll see you in our next Deutsch in 3 Minuten lesson. Bis bald! Hallo, ich bin Laura. Hi everybody, I'm Laura. Welcome to GermanPod101.com's Deutsch in 3 Minuten, the fastest, easiest and most fun way to learn German. In the last lesson, we learned some words used when apologizing in German, including Entschuldigung and Es tut mir leid. In this lesson, we are going to learn numbers in German. Yes, numbers, Zahlen, from 1 to 10. And you are going to learn them in only 3 minutes, 3 Minuten. Are you ready? Let's start. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, 10. Okay, now repeat after me. I'll say the numbers and give you time to repeat each one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Great job! Do you know what comes before 1? Right, it's null. Null. You don't have any more excuses. You can now give your friends your cell phone number in German. Let's try together. We'll use the phrase meine Nummer ist, which means my number is. Meine Nummer ist. Meine Nummer ist 03041225968. Can you read it by yourself? 03041225968. Perfect. Now it's time for Laura's Insights. When you go to the office or department store in Germany, you sometimes have to stand in a line with a number. When it's your turn to check out, they screen Nummer 1, Nummer 10, and so on. Learn your numbers well so you can be ready. Do you know the German word for 100? It's actually very similar to the English word. In the next lesson, we are going to learn the numbers from 11 to 100 in German. Your task now is to practice the numbers we studied in this lesson, from 1 to 10. Bis bald! Hallo, ich heiße Laura. Hi everybody, I'm Laura. Welcome to GermanPod101.com's Deutsch in 3 Minuten. The fastest, easiest and most fun way to learn German. In the last lesson, we learned how to be grateful to people by saying Danke. In this lesson, we learned some of the most common greetings used in Germany. Fertig? Are you ready? Los! So let's start. The most used informal greeting is Hallo. Hallo. Hallo means hi or hello. We should only use this greeting with friends or relatives. The most used formal greetings will change depending on the time of day. Let's start with Guten Tag. Guten Tag. Literally, Guten Tag means good day. As a rule of thumb, we can use Guten Tag only during the daytime, from late morning until early evening. In the morning we say Guten Morgen, good morning. Guten Morgen. During the evening we say Guten Abend. Guten Abend. Tag, Morgen and Abend is German for day, morning and evening, respectively. Easy, right? What should you say when you leave? German people usually say Auf Wiedersehen when leaving in a formal situation. Auf Wiedersehen. Auf Wiedersehen means goodbye. If we say goodbye to friends or our relatives, we use the informal word Tschüss. Tschüss. Now you can greet people in many different ways in German. Let's review them all again. First, the greetings. Informally, we simply say Hallo. Formally, use Guten Morgen in the morning, Guten Tag in the afternoon, and Guten Abend in the evening. When leaving in a formal situation, we say Auf Wiedersehen. And in an informal situation, it's Tschüss. It's easy, isn't it? Now it's time for Laura's insights. Due to a huge variety of dialects in Germany, you might hear many different greeting phrases depending on the area. In Austria and in the Catholic southern part of Germany, they even say Grüß Gott, which means greetings to God. In the past, people from the north could barely talk to people from the south, since they spoke very different languages. But nowadays, if you use these common phrases, then everyone will understand you, I'm sure. During the next lesson, we'll learn the meaning of the phrase Sprechen Sie Englisch? Do you already know it? We'll be waiting to talk about it with you in our next Deutsch in 3 Minuten lesson. Tschüss! Hallo, ich heiße Laura. Hi everybody, I'm Laura. Welcome to GermanPod101.com's Deutsch in 3 Minuten, the fastest, easiest and most fun way to learn German. In the last lesson, we learned how to introduce ourselves in German. Today, we are going to learn how to use good manners as we thank people. Fertig? Are you ready? Los! So let's start. There are several ways to thank someone. Let's start with the easiest. It's just one word, Danke. Danke. Danke means thank you. When saying thank you very much, you just need to add sehr. Danke, sehr. Sehr means a lot. So Danke sehr is like saying thank you very much. During the last lesson, we discussed the informal and the formal way of speaking German. Danke is the casual way to thank someone. If you want to be more formal, there is another phrase you should use. Ich danke Ihnen. Ich danke Ihnen. Let's break this phrase down. Ich is I, and danke means thanks. Ihnen is a formal word for you in the dative case. Notice that we don't use Sie as in the last lesson. We will discuss German pronouns in more depth in a later lesson. The full sentence once again. Ich danke Ihnen. How do you answer? It's easy. Here are 2 different ways to do it. The first is bitte schön. Bitte schön. Bitte schön can be used with just about anybody. The other way to say you're welcome is the expression gern geschehen. gern geschehen. Literally, this phrase means I liked it to happen or happened with pleasure. But it has become a common and polite way to respond to someone thanking you. So when someone says Danke to us, we can simply reply with Bitte schön or gern geschehen. Now it's time for Laura's insights. If you're not sure about whether to use Danke or Ich danke Ihnen, keeping it simple is always your safest bet. You don't have to worry about formal or informal situations. Danke can be used with just about anyone, anywhere and at any time. Do you know what Auf Wiedersehen means? In our next lesson we'll learn this and other greetings in German. Danke und bis zur nächsten Lektion!
Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free German ebook before it's gone.